Good morning, friends. How's everyone doing today? I am just thrilled to get to work on this driveway garden. We are going to be turning my driveway garden from a high maintenance garden into a low maintenance shrub garden. And my hope is that we create a beautiful picture primarily with the use of shrubs. I'm sticking with only 3 perennials in this garden. I'm not adding any perennials in, just working with the ones that are already here. But we're going to be adding in a lot more shrubs and taking out a lot of the bulb successions and moving those bulbs back into my backyard garden that's fenced in. So the first thing that we're adding into this garden are these amazing pinky winky hydrangeas. These are panicle hydrangeas and they have these wonderful, huge lace cap panicle blooms. They start out creamy white, but then they gradually age to a pink at the bottom and white at the top. I have a few of these pinky winky hydrangeas in my garden, and the blooms become ginormous as the years pass. I heard this funny story that the breeder of Pinky Winky wanted to name it Tinky Winky because their daughter at the time really loved Teletubbies, but Proven Winners was able to convince them to name it Pinky Winky instead. But if you're looking for a large panicle hydrangea that the bees and butterflies love, and that's a great cut flower, I don't think you can beat Pinky Winky hydrangea. The next thing that we're going to be doing is adding in a lot of winter interest into the garden. So I picked up 4 sprinter boxwoods at our local nursery. I paid $30 each, and I decided to spend $200 total on each of these driveway garden renovation videos. As soon as I hit $200, I'm going to stop that video and start another one. And my hope here is that we can all learn together what $200 really gets you out in the garden. But let's talk about these sprinter boxwoods. These stay pretty small, about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. I'm not going to prune them right now because we're living in the high 80s right now, and I want them to focus on a lot of root growth before I trim them into beautiful balls. But I have a few sprinter boxwoods in my garden and I love them. They provide that wonderful evergreen foliage in the garden. Another reason I'm adding more evergreen interest into the garden is so that I have it for cutting. I have about 5 of these boxwoods on the property at the moment, but I'm not really able to cut heavily on them. I don't really have enough boxwoods to make preserved boxwood wreaths, and that's really my goal, is to add more winter interest into this garden that also doubles as cut material. I'm not abandoning this garden as a cutting garden. I just want it to be a shrub cutting garden instead. And my hope is that I can lay it out as a beautiful picture. Of course, it's wonderful to grow shrubs in rows, and that's practical and efficient. My heart's desire is to have a beautiful picture to look at outside my window each morning. And the picture that I want to create over in this garden now is what I'm going to call whimsical formality. So in my front garden, we have a very formal garden now. We have the instant boxwood hedge and the incredible hydrangeas, and that's it. But then we're going to transition into this driveway garden, and it's going to just be slightly formal. Here I am washing off my sandals. Is that weird? Does anybody else do that with their watering can? But I want to kind of transition from formal in the front, slightly formal in the driveway, to basically completely informal in the back. And I really want to leave all my maintenance in the backyard and the fenced in area so that I can always be with Grace, frankly, because that's where she can be since we have a fence back there. After planting those sprinter boxwoods, I purchased 6 bags of mulch and mulched around each of our newly planted shrubs. But at that point, I had run out of the $200 and had to stop buying mulch. And you'll see in the ending footage that that looks a little bit silly at the moment. But what we're doing now is removing this crocosmia. These crocosmia bulbs have been here for about 5 years. And when I planted them, this corner of the driveway garden was full sun. but right above us is a large oak tree, and in 5 years that oak tree has grown, the canopy has expanded, and now this corner is basically full shade. The Cocosmia is not happy in this location anymore, and it flops over almost immediately. So what I'm going to do is remove it and repeat more boxwoods in this corner in the next video. So let's take a look at how the driveway garden looks after day 1 of our renovation. Please let me know if it's helpful to divide the videos into $200 increments. But as you can see, the mulch looks a little uneven. The boxwoods will need trimmed, but I hope you can start to see the picture that I'm trying to create, a beautiful, welcoming picture that transitions you from the formal front yard to basically a completely informal backyard. This is kind of our interim garden, or our intermission garden, if you will. Well, friends, I want to wish you a wonderful day out there in your gardens, and I'll see you sometime really soon for part 2 of this renovation. Bye, friends.